Hello everyone, I'm back with the final video for the chart that we've been researching, the Leo Ascendant. The first thing I have to do obviously is apologize that you can see real life has occurred as I was setting up today, and I've managed to drop some tea on my research for this chart. So I do apologize to everyone, but I think that we've already captured in the previous videos what's going on. So hopefully we can reconstruct anything that's gotten a little bit blurry there. And today what we're looking at is the actual research question. So this has evolved in the time that we've been doing this video. So we've got a couple of things to have a look at. And the first question was about career. And that is probably not a surprise to anyone who's had a look at their own astrology before and seen how important the nodes are for creating questions. And we can see that we have a node right here in the 10th house. We have Ketu. So I'm just going to put career as a question, even though it's been updated. And we're just going to say that we have Ketu in 10th house. Now, we remember from the research already that Ketu is always going to give us a sense of disappointment in the area of life where it's situated, even though it will probably give us an expertise there as well. So it's one of those great blessings that it is an area where we previously have perfected our karma. So we come into this lifetime with a really good chance of having high capability in that area of the chart. And here it's a grounded earth sign. It's in Taurus. It's the 10th house. We're expecting this person has real life skills because Venus owns Taurus, the 10th house, and it owns the 3rd house of our hobbies, the things that we do with our hands. So this person is probably able to do many skills, well-grounded practical skills. And that can be a mixed blessing in itself, can't it, when we're a good jack of all trades. So having Ketu in the 10th house is going to bring a level of dissatisfaction with the career on purpose, and that's why we often have questions about that. And it's with the moon. So moon is the manas, it's the mind, it's a luminary, it's a very personal planet. And this moon is great, it's exalted in Taurus, but it's not actually getting any support. If we look over at the faculty, you can see all the colors, all the other teachers are getting support from other faculty members, or even worse, they're getting hassled by faculty members, but not in this case. So moon is doing well. Yes, it's exalted, but it's not getting a lot of support. And we can see that it doesn't have a lot of confidence there. It's got 7 points out of 60 and no one really to lift it up. And remember, this is the confidence to take action. So the moon there is in between two malefics in a way. If you want to call the sun a malefic, it's in between those. So a great internal reservoir, 59.9 out of 60, a great internal stamina around intuition, imagination. And that reservoir helps to give us ideas, lift us up in our heart, in our mind. But then taking action is a little more difficult, not as much support. And then that planet that's in the 10th house owns the 12th house, the most expansive and ethereal house, the least material house in any chart. So there's these mixes of things going on in the 10th house. And then we have to also notice that the 10th Lord, I should just write that down. So moon, low confidence, and 12th. I'll put 12th Lord or 12th professor of the 12th unit. And then the Lord of the 10th house, or the owner of this course, the career, remember, teaching steadily materializing value through work contribution, is being starved by Saturn. So I'll just put here 10th Lord starved by Saturn in the 12th sign. So it's also got that expansive, unmaterialized kind of energy about it. And it wants to be steadily building up a contribution, steadily materializing value. That's what Taurus classroom is all about. And it's got a couple of things that are preventing it from doing that. It's got Ketu, which is going to possibly make us change career often and certainly feel dissatisfied. So we might move on from career. And then we've got Venus trying to steadily materialize here in a non-material sign. But of course, it's actually exalted. and it's leading us to our higher purpose. So it's doing all of this for our best and highest good. But this just to set the context of why the original question was about career, and it was about teaching. And we can see that we have Mars is on the first house. It's a little blurry now, but Mars is on the first house, and Mars owns the fourth and the ninth. And both of these are related to education. So Mars rules the fourth house of early education, like we could think of as primary education. And the ninth is higher education. Mars has got both of the levels of education there. So we've got Mars ruling fourth and ninth, both of learning. If I was pushed to choose between those, I probably would head up to teaching older children because we have that exalted sun there. But again, for the person to choose, older children, adventure, courage, really stretching people in what they can do to lift themselves up. Perhaps teaching younger children here how to get through the darkness of their own demons in some way, how to solve problems themselves, maybe those more internal problems, psychological problems, how to be a good friend to yourself when you're struggling somewhat. So maybe allow that to be the choice of whether we teach older or younger children. We can see why this person might be attracted to teaching the average person, teaching what we would call in the old days of blue-collar workers, because we have the 10th Lord. Venus is with the Lord of the 6th. And the 6th is the common person. It's ruled by Saturn. Saturn is our weakest qualities. So this is maybe going to attract someone to teaching those who are struggling, who are having a tough time, because that is a beautiful use of Venus and Saturn. Venus, that nurturing, nursing, caring kind of energy, and Saturn, those real life struggles of people who are the salt of the earth. The real people is what Saturn represents. So we can see that Venus-Saturn conjunction leads to teaching strugglers. So beautiful for this Leo ascendant to bring so much solar energy and leadership in such a caring way to real people. Now, if there were hurdles around that career, the standout thing is going to be that Ketu, giving us a sense of disappointment and dissatisfaction, even though our competency will be very high. We can see around how much authority is this person going to have. We notice that the sun is all by itself. So there aren't any planets really being intimidated by the sun having been in the same sign, but they're still close. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 planets within one sign of the sun, including the 10th Lord of work. So this person may feel that they don't get as much authority much freedom, because they really only have Mars and Jupiter here a good distance, a beautiful distance away from the sun in these complementary fire signs. So the question has evolved into talking about that the motivation really around working, changing career, becoming a teacher is for the chance to stabilize the career and put away the finances to be able to be with their guru. And what a beautiful expression of this chart, because the strongest feature is these two beautiful placements. The first Lord exalted in the ninth, the ninth Lord very happy in the first. So I'm just going to put here first in ninth, exalted, and ninth in first, also happy in that fire sign. In some ways, I don't understand the second question, because this is a chart that wants to be with the guru, and it's just wonderful that this person is doing that. So I give my full astrological support to that. Maybe why I'm confused, because this is such a beautiful placement. It's yes, let's do it. Maybe the things to remember here are that Mars near Cancer is low in Uccha or stamina, and that can lead the person to feel overwhelmed in the face of obstacles and have that sense of not knowing if they should fight for their dharma. So the only thing that's on my mind is that perhaps that low Uccha bala for Mars or low stamina for Mars is what is causing this person to question. Ask that as a question. The other thing that might be causing that is if we have a look for all Leo ascendants, Mercury becomes a really important planet of finances because it rules the second house of income and the 11th house of gains. Now, these are very good. You can see great prosperity scores here for them, but they are having Mercury, the actual teacher, is in a really tricky situation here. So the Lord of income and the Lord of savings, the teacher of that, is up here in Pisces. Pisces is not very material, right? It's a water sign. It's the 12th sign of the zodiac. It's spiritual. You could see that Mercury would be exalted here where it would be balancing spreadsheets and dotting all the I's, crossing all the T's, getting into the detail, an earth sign, being able to hold down the detail and really look at the detail, build wealth from focus here in the second house. But the Lord is up here with everything floating like water droplets, all misty, expanding from each other. Very hard to measure and manage anything up there in Pisces. In terms of this question, what is my future like in the opportunity to go be with my guru? I'm wondering whether Mercury as 2nd and 11th Lord in the sign is what is causing issues there. Also, it's wedged between a malefic one side, Saturn, and malefic on the other side, the Sun. So it's really squeezed up there. And it's a long way from its microphone as well. So it's, as we pointed out, it's probably the teacher that is struggling the most and preventing this person from having that sense of financial management. So for this, we might like to look at a Mercury mantra because Mercury is up there in Jupiter sign. So it might go really nicely, and I can send you a link for a Mercury mantra. But I want to also point out that this Mercury is exactly where it's supposed to be. If we have a look at the D9, which you can't see on screen because I haven't done it here, maybe I should just do a very quick D9, which is a beautiful Vaka chart. Very simple Vaka chart. Takes all of the signs and splits them into 9 parts. I'll just put D9 here so we know what we're looking at. Guess where Mercury is? Up here. And the ascendant is right there in Libra, meaning that Mercury is the 9th Lord and the 12th Lord. So beautiful linking of my purpose in the Navamsha of my purpose with pilgrimage to the 12th house in the 12th sign of Pisces. So just beautiful linking. However, it's still in that what we feel like is a debilitation sign for Mercury. So I can see why this person can maybe sometimes feel that Mercury is not helping them, but it is exactly where it's supposed to be. It's the AtmaKaraka in the birth chart. Remember, it was at 29 degrees, 18 minutes in the birth chart. It's in Pisces in the D1. It's in Pisces in the Navamsha. This is no accident. This is showing us that we have a special gift here, which is leading us towards our higher purpose. It's lifting us, and it reminds me very much of the Jaimini Sutra for Pisces, which says in Pisces, elevation, perpetual dharma, and kaivalyam. So Mercury is the svamsha for this chart. It is in exactly the right place. Being a footless sign, as Pisces is, Mercury is showing us that total surrender to the divine. This is the surest path to prosperity on this earth. So it's the unconventional way for Mercury to gain prosperity, right? We think of it doing it through Virgo, being very earth-based, detail-based, checking everything, having a real materialized sense of one's wealth and managing it. And yet this chart is repeatedly telling us that surrender to that divine, to that calling of our higher dharma, that is where wealth is for this person. So I'm sure that it's frustrating, because it doesn't work the way everybody's Mercury works, but it is on purpose. It is a blessing and a gift in this chart. We notice it. Let's acknowledge it. Let's acknowledge this beautiful architecture here. Okay, so these are my thoughts about the questions. I just now want to say a little bit about timing. Is this going to work out, this change of career, so that they can get the financial resources support that they need to go to this guru? And I want to point out a few things. One is right now in the sky, we have a whole lot of planets in Pisces, and they're all going to be moving into Aries, where we already have Saturn and Neptune. And very soon we're going to have 5 planets here in Aries. So there's a lot of stimulation right now coming up for the 9th house. This is great in terms of your question. However, then I want to point out that we do have Saturn there. So all of these transits are going to activate that exalted sun. It's wonderful. It's be around the person's solar return, around their birthday. But we have to also acknowledge that Saturn has just moved into Aries. It's going to be there for 2.5 years. So if there are delays to this plan around being with the guru, we can relax and know that is absolutely okay. Saturn slows things down, not to worry. However, I do want you to notice we have Jupiter transiting Cancer all the way through to the middle of 2026. And that is in this person's 12th house of pilgrimages to far off distant places. So lovely time in the next 6 months. I don't think the person is planning to do it in the next 6 months, but just pointing out that Jupiter is there and is only there once every 12 years. So it's nice to enjoy it, acknowledge it. And then Ketu is transiting in the other direction into Leo this year in tropical Vedic astrology. So Ketu will be transiting the first house of this person's chart for 18 months. And that is quite a spiritual time, because Ketu is a very spiritual planet and is helping us to detach. So that might be some timing to be aware of. And we know that Saturn in this chart, whose role is to help us let go of things, is a little bit struggling, and Ketu might help with those endings. We're looking forward a little bit into the future there. Now, again, you can't see on this hand-drawn version, but in the Caranavamsa, which is the Gemini-based, sign-based timing, we're currently in a Pisces Dasa. This is the 8th house. It's a moksha house, and it's change and transformation. From the middle of this year, that will become a Pisces transit from July 26 to April 27. So change and transformation being highlighted by Gemini, where we have our AtmaKaraka up here. And then from April next year, April 27 till the end of 2027, it's a Pisces Aries time period for Gemini timing, and that pulls in your 9th house of the guru, of the teacher. So that might be good stimulation for the AtmaKaraka. If we look at Vimshottari Dasa timing, we put it on the traditional settings, then it's Moon Dasa, Moon Mahadasha at the moment, and that is the 12th lord of pilgrimage in the 10th house of work and career. So that's a nice match to what you're doing right now. But that combination goes all the way through to 2031. So that stimulation is there for quite some years to come. Now, the only thing to keep in mind, and you're probably already aware of this, is that Saturn has just finished transiting through Pisces over the natal Saturn. Now it's going to transit for 2.5 years over the natal Sun. Then it's going to transit for 2.5 years over the natal Moon, and then 2.5 years to get one sign away from the natal Moon. So we've got a Saturn return in the last few years, currently a Saturn Sun transit, but also the beginning of the Saturn transiting the natal Moon, which is Sati, which has a reputation in Vedic astrology for being a life-defining transit. Suffice to say that this is an intense period of Saturn transiting over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of a potential 9 planets. So a lot of teaching from Saturn during this time. And remember that Saturn teaches us by letting us know what we are not and by saying no to things. So this can be a frustrating time, but it allows us to become aware of what we need to liberate ourselves from that is not our true self. Now, it might do that by putting us in positions of things that we're doing things that are not our true self, so that we can feel it and go, that's not me, that's not right. And we can let it go. So this is an amazing time of stimulation for finding out who I truly am and letting go of what I am not. So keep that in mind as we go through this time period, which is long. It's already started, and then is 5 years to get through these two, but another 2.5 to get to the end of it. So maybe 7 years still of a strong Saturn influence, where there might be no's to things and there might be a finding out who I am. In summary, I just want to reflect back to this person what excellent placements they have in their chart, and to use these great placements to support any doubts that we're having about Mars and our connection to the guru. While it might at times feel that the obstacles are overwhelming, maybe those financial management obstacles are always cloudy and dispersing, never able to materialize, let's draw on the delight that Mars is receiving from these other planets to really affirm how beautiful connecting with the guru would be for this person's chart, and to take the opportunity to practice the Mercury mantra, perhaps on Wednesdays, on Mercury's days, knowing that Mercury is exactly in the place that it's supposed to be, and surrendering all of those obstacles that we feel are in the way of our purpose, surrendering those to our best and highest good, that they are all there exactly as they should be. And it might not feel like that, but that's what it's like here being in a human body. We can't understand the big picture. So we just surrender all of those frustrations or lack of cohesiveness, lack of materialization to our higher calling, to that pilgrimage and that perpetual Dharma and Kavaliya. And that's what this chart, and hopefully this chart reading, can offer us as guide for the future. I hope that all makes sense, and I really look forward to catching up with you soon. Bye, everyone.